You, the one who just clicked this video because you couldn't resist the words forbidden Bible knowledge? Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like there's more to the Bible than what you've been told? Like some deeper truths that have been hidden, buried, or even erased? Well, you're not alone, and you're definitely in the right place. Stick with me, because by the time we're done here, you're going to see the Bible and maybe even your own faith in a way you've never seen it before. Let's start with Enoch. Oh, Enoch, this guy is like the spiritual equivalent of a Marvel superhero. He didn't just live, he walked so closely with God that one day God was like, "You know what, Enoch? You're coming with me." No death, no funeral, just straight up heaven-bound. Imagine having that on your spiritual resume. But here's where it gets wild. The Book of Enoch talks about the Watchers, a group of angels who came down to earth and basically broke all the rules. These guys didn't just watch humanity, they got involved. They taught us things like how to make weapons, read the stars, and wait for it, eyeliner. Yes, apparently makeup was part of the forbidden curriculum. Who knew Sephora owed its roots to fallen angels? But it didn't stop there. These angels also fathered a race of giants called the Nephilim, giants who were so corrupt, so destructive, that God had to hit the reset button with a flood. Now let me ask you, doesn't that make you wonder? Why were humans not supposed to know these things? What's so dangerous about knowledge that it can corrupt an entire world? And more importantly, are we still paying the price for it today? Because if you look around, doesn't it feel like humanity is still chasing forbidden knowledge, technology, power, manipulation? We've come so far, but at what cost? Maybe Enoch was a warning. Maybe there are things we were never meant to know because our hearts aren't ready to handle them. But let's shift gears for a moment, because if Enoch gives us a glimpse into the spiritual battles of the past, the Maccabees remind us of the power of courage and faith. Let me tell you, this isn't just a history lesson. This is straight-up inspiration. The Maccabees were a small group of Jewish warriors who stood up against one of the greatest empires of their time. They didn't have the numbers, the weapons, or the resources. What they did have was faith. Faith that their God was bigger than any army. Now, imagine being in their shoes. You've got the entire world against you. Everyone is telling you to give up, to bow down, to compromise, but you don't. You fight. And not because you think you're strong enough, but because you know your God is. That's the kind of faith that shakes mountains. Let me ask you, when was the last time you had that kind of faith? The kind that makes you stand up when everyone else sits down. The kind that believes even when the odds are against you. Because if the Maccabees could do it, what's stopping you? Now, here's where it all comes together. You might be thinking, okay, this is fascinating, but what does it have to do with me? Everything. Because whether it's the forbidden knowledge of Enoch or the unshakable faith of the Maccabees, the lesson is the same. It's not about what you know, it's about who you trust. Sometimes we get so caught up chasing secrets, hidden truths, and forbidden knowledge that we forget the most important thing. The knowledge we already have is enough. The Word of God, the Bible as we know it, is enough. Listen, I get it. The idea of forbidden knowledge is exciting. It makes us feel like we're on the verge of discovering something life-changing. But let me tell you something. True transformation doesn't come from secrets. It comes from surrender, from taking the truths we already have and actually living them out. So here's my challenge to you. Dive deeper into the Word you already have. Read it. Wrestle with it. Let it challenge you. And if you're curious about books like Enoch or Maccabees, sure, explore them, but let them lead you back to the one who is the source of all wisdom. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you know, it's about who you follow. And the God of the Bible, the God of creation, the God who loved you enough to die for you, that God is enough. So now, it's your move. What are you going to do with what you've learned? If you're ready to take this journey, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive deeper into the greatest story ever told. Because trust me, it's just getting started.